Hey you guys, I had to come here right now to talk to you about this video that just popped up on my YouTube news feed that I know God put in front of me right now, literally minutes ago, for me and for you, and that's why I knew I had to come here right now and talk about it before I even forget. So, when I open up any social media app, honestly, I pay a little bit of attention to what pops up for me on the news feed because I know that a lot of it can be spirit guided. And this one was like right at the top, so I couldn't even waste time scrolling or anything. I saw it immediately, and what stood out to me was two things. The message or the title said, God will put this in front of you when you're ready to see it, essentially. You'll see the full title because I'm going to show you the clip. And then underneath it, it said it was from 1 year ago. And that's what stood out to me, like, I'm supposed to see this right now. So I watched the video and the message, as I'm listening to the message, I'm downloading and channeling as I'm listening to the message as well. So I know I was supposed to hear this. I was supposed to hear it for myself. And I'm already thinking to myself, I'm supposed to talk about this also. And then towards the end of the video, it's not even a long video, and I'm going to show you a shorter clip from it with the primary message. But towards the end, I tapped on the little screen to see like the full title and date that it was released. The date wasn't even a year ago. The date was December 26, 2024. So that's actually almost a year and a half. YouTube doesn't tell you that specific. So it was basically over a year. So this is from a year and a half ago. And it says, God will show you this when you're meant to hear it, when you're ready for it. And maybe some of you won't even hear this until you're meant to hear it. But so this is what I channeled while I was listening to it. His message, you're going to see the whole thing anyway, but his message was talking about how you might feel like you have been in or are in the middle of certain trials, tribulations, delays, but know that God has big plans for you. God's going to like change your life, something to that effect. But know that these trials, these delays, etc., they're happening for a reason. They're building up patience for you. They're teaching you this, that, and the other. I can't remember every exact thing that he said, but basically that's, we know that anyway, right? These tests are teaching us something, right? What I was channeling while he was talking about this, and this is what I feel is more important for my message to you, is I'm hearing all of this, and what's coming to me is it's not just us divine feminines, it's our divine masculines too. The divine masculines can't receive what they are meant to receive until they go through their own trials and tribulations and tests, until they learn the lessons that they are supposed to learn. So divine feminines, you might be sitting here thinking like, how much more do I have to go through? Like, how much longer do I have to wait? Although, to be honest, if you're in inner union, you're probably not feeling that way. You should be in a better mental state about it. But my point is that you can feel like that feeling of like, how much longer, how much more do I have to go through? And what you're missing is that the divine feminine is always ahead of the divine masculine. So the divine feminine can have completed her lessons. The divine feminine can have reached the point where she is ready, but the divine masculine isn't yet. The divine masculine is always a few steps behind the divine feminine because the divine feminine leads the connection and leads the journey. The divine feminine is the one who is more awakened. So the divine masculine is still completing what he needs to complete. He's still closing out the cycles he needs to close out. He's still integrating the lessons that he needs to integrate. He's still going through the tests and triggers that he needs to go through. And so, divine feminine, you might have completed that, and that the delays that you're still waiting for are because your divine feminine has to complete his side. And you two will come into union and have your lives changed for the better when you both have reached the conclusion of those lessons and cycles. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong on your end. It just means that he's still catching up. And that's okay. Don't be upset with him about it. Don't be upset with spirit about it. Allow him to go through the process that he needs to go through, okay? And then also, what I have found from my experience and from what I've observed as well is that Divine Feminine's spirit is still going to put you, while you're waiting for the masculine to catch up in the lessons that connect the two of you, spirit will still put you through some other stuff, some other lessons and cycles that will be specific for you, that will be related to your life purpose path, or maybe positioning you where you need to be for whatever is meant to come for you. Or it could be helping wrap up other cycles. It could be anything, but the example that I'm going to use is spiritual warfare, because spirit has had me helping with other spiritual warfare that isn't necessarily mine. Sometimes it is, but not always. But more so, it's like some of it's helping the world from attacks that have a greater impact than on just one or two people. So that can be, spirit can use you in other ways while you are waiting for alignment of for your union. Something that just came to me, that's why I messed up my words. Remember that the divine alignment for your union is not just about where you are, and it's not even necessarily just about where your twin is. There are multiple things that are all aligning from spirit side for divine alignment for union. So while you're waiting for all of those different things, I mean, I don't have a number for you. It probably depends on each person anyway. But while you're waiting for all of those different things to come together and align exactly how they're supposed to for your union, spirit will continue to put your masculine through what he needs to complete so that he's ready. And spirit will put you through, or will even, I don't know, kind of like tap you for your own expertise or purpose to work on something that spirit needs you to work on in the meantime. So whether that's, like I said, positioning you where you need to be before you move forward, or if it's, using you and your gifts to help with something else, just know that spirit will still be at work in your life, and spirit will still be moving you where you need to be, where you are needed, or anything like that. So just trust the process. Don't get upset. If you're truly in inner union, you shouldn't be getting upset anymore anyway. But yeah, don't get upset about the delays. Know that they're happening for a reason. Trust the process, and that everything is coming together exactly when and how it's meant to be. And for some of you, like me, who was just presented with this video, maybe it's a positive sign for you that things are coming together. So here is that clip for you to watch. And at the very end, I can't talk. I don't even know what it is. I tap on the little thing so that you can see the full date and the full title.
God is about to do something big in your life. God is about to transform you into someone you've never thought you could be. God is about to do something in your life that the people that look down on you will be like, oh, is that the same kid that used to do that or do that? How is he doing this now? They're gonna be talking about you. And you know why? Because you have been obedient to God. You have been working hard. You have been striving for his kingdom. And maybe things weren't working out for you right now. Maybe things are being delayed. Maybe you feel like God isn't listening. Maybe you feel like God doesn't care about you. Maybe you feel like the things in your life that are happening right now, the negative things at least, were sent by God to punish you for something, but that's not the truth. The truth is that the things you're going through right now, the trials, the tribulations, the delays, all these different things were meant to make you patient. Were meant to build you up as a person. Were meant to help you humble yourself so that you can receive what God wants you to have. Because until you can change yourself, God can't give you the things you desire, because that person right now, maybe you're not the person right now that can have the blessings you aspire to have. And that goes for me as well. I'm probably not the person that's ready for the things that I want in my life, but I know that God will build me each day through tests, through trials and tribulations. But I know that he is building you as well. And that's why I got behind this camera and I made this video, because God put it on my heart to tell somebody this. And I know that it might help somebody. It will help somebody.
Another 2 year or more older videos popped up on my YouTube today continuing the message from the earlier one that I already recorded about. And as I was listening to them, once again, I started channeling, and I knew I'm supposed to talk about this too. So I took a moment, because they're longer, I took a moment to listen to them, summarize them, and channel, like write down what I was channeling so that I could make sure that I covered everything and in the best way. These videos really stuck out to me a lot as well, because of how they ended up connecting some religious teachings with the twin flame journey and spiritual teachings. Just quick background. I grew up Christian, Lutheran specifically. In college, I studied world religions, and I saw firsthand how all religions, are kind of teaching different versions of the same ultimate truths. And it's just different paths to God, really. What connects for some people doesn't connect for others, and they have a different avenue and path to find their way to God. And that's okay, right? And then ultimately, spirituality is like not needing a religious-based organization to teach you, but you're still arriving at the same concepts and teachings. So I love how these two videos happen to be religious-oriented, but what they were teaching directly correlated to the twin flame journey and what you were learning through the twin flame journey. So I absolutely loved that. But I did want to summarize so that it more has the verbiage through the way that I speak from the spiritual perspective, since I'm not super religious anymore, okay? But so the first video was from December 8th, 2024. God Knows You're Craving Someone is what it was titled. I almost didn't watch it, but because of when it was from, I was like, let me just see what it says here. And sure enough, it was the most connected to the twin flame journey. And that's what really stood out to me, and where I knew I was supposed to talk about this. So he says, your future relationship is going to be a God-given gift. It's going to be so amazing that the sufferings you went through, you would go through again. You would wait 5, 10, 15 more years if you would have known that this was going to be more than what you asked for. And that right there, first thing I'm thinking of, you're supposed to wait for your twin flame. Don't abandon ship. Don't run from your twin flame journey because you're stuck in 3D thinking of what relationships are supposed to be like and not wanting to wait. Your twin flame is your spiritual spouse. I also find it funny because I see in more Christian oriented groups, I see people talk about their kingdom spouse, and gosh, I can't think of them right now, of course, but I've seen other terminology that I recognize is the same thing as the twin flame. But people with different belief systems just phrase things in different ways. It's all coming back to the same thing and the same concepts. And so, yeah, you are not supposed to just rush into relationships because you're trying to check off the boxes for your life. Or because honestly, you're kind of being codependent and you're don't want to be alone. Or you're anxious to start your family. You're supposed to wait for your divine spiritual spouse, your twin flame in this case, and you have to trust the process, and you have to trust that spirit is setting everything up the way it's supposed to be for you, for both of you. And spirit knows how this needs to align. I even have one of my cards from my Akashic Records deck. It's a picture of, actually they're in wedding attire, a man and a woman coming together, and it has their higher selves in the top and their physical bodies in the bottom, and the cards outright says, your higher selves know when and how this is meant to come together, but you don't. Basically, you just have to trust them to guide you there. So I loved what he said there, you're single for a reason right now. You are meant to wait for your person, and that it will come together when it's supposed to happen. He also said, only when you've got Jesus as your top priority, you'll be able to be the partner your future spouse deserves. Now, what I took from that is connected to the twin flame journey is when you are focused on your spiritual path and your spiritual purpose. Christ consciousness, not Jesus being your top priority. He can be. If you work with him or you're more connected with him in your spirituality, but think of Christ consciousness, if anything, okay? Your spiritual path, your spiritual awakening. The twin flame journey is a spiritual rebirth. You are going through this massive metamorphosis for a reason. You're not only supposed to be focused on relationships or your twin flame. You are going through a spiritual journey that is, what did it say? You'll be able to be the partner your future spouse deserves. Well, you're going through a spiritual journey and metamorphosis that is making you the best version of yourself, that is integrating your higher self, that is upgrading you, that is bringing you into inner union, so that then you are ready for your future spouse, for your twin flame. You're ready for union. It's the same thing. It's just worded in a different way for religion. When you are following your soul, this is what I channeled, okay? When you are following your soul-aligned path, your spiritual mission and purpose in this world, when you're focused on your spiritual awakening, surrendering to spirit, letting Jesus take the wheel, and I laugh because I literally just used this analogy with a client the other day. I was saying letting go does not mean giving up. It means letting go of the steering wheel and letting spirit drive. It means surrendering control and letting go with God or whatever that phrase is. So it cracked me up that the same thing came to me today. When you will become the best version of yourself in inner union for yourself and for your partner by letting go and letting spirit take the wheel. So basically the same message from religion versus the twin flame journey. Trust the process, trust the journey, let spirit take the wheel, and trust who you are becoming during it, because that is who you're meant to be for yourself and for your twin flame. Now, the last quote from this particular video: your singleness is a gift from God. Use this time to find yourself. The journey to inner union, hello. Use this time to deepen your, and this is where I changed the words for our purposes. Use this time to deepen your spiritual awakening and understanding, your connection to spirit, and your connection to yourself. Your healing within, with your wounded inner child, right? And integrating with your higher self also. Don't rush into, this is also his words, don't rush into anything worldly. Don't rush into other 3D relationships, giving up on your twin flame because you're trying to check all the boxes to get married and have a family. You're being molded into a better person. Allow it. Allow it to teach you through experiences, test your faith, grow your patience, and become who you are truly meant to be. All things that the twin flame journey is teaching you. Religion teaching the same thing, just different words. So I literally wrote, what does that sound like? It sounds like the twin flame journey. This is our process, right? So don't run from the inner work. Realize that if you're waiting for your twin flame and you're waiting for union, it's for a bigger purpose. It's your spiritual journey as an individual. It's your spiritual journey for your twin flame as well, and for the connection. Your own souls, your higher selves, and God, spirit, the universe, creator, however you think of it, are molding both of you into who and what you are truly meant to be, preparing you for each other, preparing you for union, and preparing you for the next season of your life, which that's actually going to lead into the next video. The next video that popped up for me, I'm going to talk about in my next video as well. Okay, but yes, you are not supposed to like rush into a 3D worldly connection like your family and society might be pressuring you to do. You're supposed to wait for your person, your twin flame, and you're supposed to allow spirit to shape you and mold you into who you're truly meant to be. Trust that process for yourself and for your twin flame. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. So in the last video that popped up on YouTube, it was from July 10th, 2025. Is very similar to the first video I talked about as well. This guy had this, download come to him in the middle of the night, and he said, wake me up at 5 a.m. if you want me to record about it. And he did. He did wake up at 5 a.m. He did record about it. And then I watched it today and it resonated with me for the twin flame journey as well. And here I am relaying it to you as well as what I'm channeling about it. So God, however you think of God, spirit, creator, whatever, has more in store for you than what you can possibly imagine from your limited 3D worldly perspective. You know, I have said from the beginning of my journey of becoming a twin flame advisor and teacher that I do not believe that we go through this for no reason. The twin flame journey is so hard, let alone throwing in spiritual warfare and all types of other situations and difficulties in this journey. I do not believe that we go through this for no reason and that there's not a satisfying outcome at the end of it. As far as I'm concerned, the only way that there's not a satisfying outcome at the end of it is if you give up and you bail. But if you stick to your path, your spiritual path, and stick with your twin flame journey and see it through and go through, do what you are guided to do, you are meant to do for yourself and your journey, not just with your twin flame, but individually as well, because this is a spiritual path. If you see it through, you will be rewarded and you will come into union and you will achieve all that you are meant to achieve. And it is far beyond what you can imagine. And that was his message. God has big plans for you that you can't even imagine. But before you can receive them, you are being changed first and your life is being changed first. You are being prepared to be able to receive it. What did I just talk about? The whole spiritual journey. Well, that's what needs to change. You are being shifted from that 3D worldly path that we've been conditioned into growing up to shift over to your spiritual path, to your spiritual purpose, to using your spiritual gifts, to following your soul path and getting aligned with your soul aligned path. And as you go through those changes, my hair is like making me itch on my neck. As you go through those changes and as you are shaped by those experiences and you change within yourself along with that process, you are aligning with your spiritual path and with that big beautiful outcome that is awaiting you. Okay, so that is exactly what this twin flame journey is. He was talking about it from the spiritual perspective and how God is molding you and preparing you for all that you're meant to receive. And that's the same thing as the twin flame journey. Once again, right? It's changing you from the inside out and preparing you for all that Spirit has in store. So I did feel like I wanted to say, I wrote it down. If you heard this message from me in the first video and now again, and that those videos had this message and now I'm saying it to you too. If you're watching this video, if you're hearing these messages, you are about to step into a new season of your life that you have been anticipating for a long time. You've just been waiting while Spirit has been preparing you. And now here's Spirit saying, we've moved things around. We're still moving things around. You know where you're at better than I do. But at least I do for the collective all at once. But know that you're being prepared for the next season of your life, and it's coming probably sooner than you think. Although that being said, Spirit's version of soon isn't exactly our version of soon. So, take it with a grain of salt, but you're not meant to focus on timing anyway, okay? Know that Spirit has been preparing you. Spirit is moving things around for you, getting you into position, getting your twin flame into position, and aligning everything that is needed, okay? If you still have to wait a little longer, remember that there's a reason for it. Don't focus on the wait. Remember, I just said this is not about timing. Don't focus on timing. Work on yourself in the meantime. Just like that previous video talked about. Make sure that you're doing what you know you're supposed to do and what you're being guided to do. Make sure you're not self-sabotaging or creating your own blocks. Make sure you're healing and releasing those inner wounds that create those blocks, that create the fear and the self-limiting beliefs that cause the self-sabotaging. If you have the little angel on one shoulder and the little devil on the other shoulder, this is your ego center, potentially even entities as well. This is your higher self and your guardian angels. Have you discerned how to pay attention to which voices you're hearing in your head? They both have your own voice. You're going to hear your thoughts in your head. They all sound like your own voice. Some of them are coming from this side, some of them are coming from this side. Have you learned how to discern from the lower fear-based ego center, little devil entities, etc., versus your higher self, your guardian angels, your spirit team? That's part of what you need to do in working on yourself and learning how to follow your spiritual path, learning how to only listen to, or primarily listen to. Really, it is only, but it's a process of getting to only listening to these voices, and listening to your higher self guiding you appropriately, right? Okay, so make sure that you are ready, that you trust that this new season of your life, union, and more, and whatever is in store for you, whatever spirit has in store for you, will all come together when and how it's meant to, and it will have been worth the wait. And, like I said, do what you need to do in the meantime and trust that process. In this new season as well, more intention is demanded of you. I love this quote. Deeper intentionality in your relationship with spirit or God, or however you think of it. That's the spiritual component of what you're going through, right? In order to be ready and have all of those amazing things start coming in, union, but whatever else God has in store for you as well, you are meant to be aligned with your spiritual path, connected with God, spirit, source. While you are traversing your inner union journey as part of your twin flame journey, this is a huge aspect of it. Not everybody wants to acknowledge that. I have met a lot of divine feminines who don't want to focus on the spiritual awakening, who don't want to focus on their spiritual paths, who want to ignore ascension. They just want to be about their twin flames and union. But you can't. They're inextricably intertwined, and you cannot have one without the other. You're either not being true to your twin flame journey, or you're not on one if you're ignoring the spiritual awakening that goes along with it. It is, as I said, inextricably intertwined. You cannot have one without the other. And if you are not doing the things that you're meant to do to follow along on your spiritual path and your spiritual awakening, then you're not ready for union, and you're not ready to receive all that's meant for you, because the spiritual path cannot be separated from your twin flame journey. Okay? So over the course of this process, you will continue to release any patterns and habits that may have gotten you by in the past, but they're not going to help you in this next season, next chapter of your life. So know that, expect that. That's one of the ways that Spirit is working on you to mold you and shape you into who you are meant to be, the best version of yourself. I've seen Spirit working on that with me in terms of helping me release my OCD, habits and things like that. Once again, you also cannot focus on timing. It could be a while. It could not be a while. It could happen unexpectedly and very quickly. Spirit is capable of anything. I have witnessed miracles many times. Excuse me. And I can tell you firsthand that anything can happen, and it can happen quickly, unexpectedly, overnight, or it can take time. It just depends on when you and your twin flame are ready, and you just have to trust that the timing will be perfect, exactly what it needs to be, and don't focus on it, okay? When you're in inner union, you won't feel the need to focus on timing anymore. And the last message was just remember that no matter where you're at in your journey right now, as you move forward, you don't need to know all the steps. You don't need to see the plans, the map. You don't need to have all the answers. Focus on moving forward with the clarity that Spirit's got you, your higher self, your spirit team. It doesn't matter how hard it might be at times. You are being prepared for all that's meant for you. And you can let go of the wheel. You can let go of your worries, your doubts, your fears, and you can have that blind faith and trust that Spirit's got you. You can have that close your eyes and take that trust fall, okay? It's it. That's what it's all about. Religion teaches the same thing. It's all about faith and trust in Spirit.